Hey everyone, it's me, Catherine, and we are back with some actual book content. I have a book review for you. Hopefully, there's 3 more coming. There's definitely 1 more coming soon, because I'm filming it the same day as this one. But hopefully there's an extra 2, if I can get round to getting those done. Anyway, today we are going to be reviewing, spoiler-free, Turning Darkness into Light by Marie Brennan. Finally, I've been meaning to get this done since the first time I read it, and then I started a reread ages ago with the expectation that I would get a review done. I was reading it to help me. I'm gonna have to apologise for the glare in my glasses. Like, I'm pretty sure you probably used it by now, but like, I don't use contacts, so, and I can't really see much anymore without them on. So the days of no glare are way behind us. But about the book. So, Turning Darkness into Light takes place in the same universe as the Natural History of Dragons. I went to point on my shelf, I do not physically own the Natural History of Dragons series, although I would like to have the whole collection. But this is set years after the original series finished. It is, I guess it's a spin-off, right? Spin-off story that's following the granddaughter of Lady Trent, Isabella Camhurst. Audrey, her granddaughter, one of her granddaughters anyway, who has decided to go into translation. Translation is like her passion she takes after, I guess she was influenced greatly by her granddad. Oh my god, whose name I can't remember. The dude in the Natural History of Dragons series. Obviously not her original husband because he died. Spoilers! If you've ever read the Natural History of Dragons series, he dies in like the first book. And then she continuously meets this translator, whose name I cannot recall. Begins with an S. I'm almost positive it begins with an S. Anyway. Audrey, who clearly inspired greatly by both her grandma and her granddad, goes into translation, and she is hired by some noble dude who has discovered, stolen some tablets related to the Draconians, the race of dragon people that Isabella, our Lady Trent, stumbled upon, I think almost quite literally, in the last book of the series, and they have had a few years now of being known and trying to sort of integrate into society after who knows how many years of living in isolation up in the mountains. So this noble, whose name Lord Glenley, who hired her to translate these tablets at his house in secret. She's not allowed to tell anybody what she's done, what she's found, what she's translating. It has to be hush hush until he publishes the work under her name at like right up to the lead up of a really important meeting that's basically, I think, discussing what's going to happen, or how everyone's going to deal with the Draconians and how they're going to allow them to integrate into their society and things like that. And Audrey enlists the help of her Draconian friend Cudshane to help her translate it. He's like a priest, I think, of the Draconians, and this is like a big deal for both of them. Cudshane because it's like the history of his people, and Audrey because she is, I guess, trying to get her big break. She enjoys translation and she wants people to know her for like her translation skills, her, like, you know, the things that she translates and the, obviously, the things like that. She's sort of, I guess, like, she's sort of been living in the shadow of her grandma, of like Lady Trent. Her grandma was Lady Trent. Like, that's big shoes to fill, except nobody in her family expects her to fill any shoes, like her sister Charlotte hasn't decided to follow any kind of studies at all, and she's like quite alright being like properly into society and doing all the society stuff. But Audrey went into the scholarly works and she wants to make a name for herself, and there is things that are happening. Like, there's clearly something going on. Lord Glenley's clearly not being quite upfront with them as he should be, and it's sort of them getting to the bottom of it and getting to the bottom of this sort of like, I get political, societal socially political plot, potentially against the Draconians, except they can't quite put their finger on what or why anything is happening. And it's really good. Translation, I love the translation aspect of, like, when we get... I'm going to have to Google his fucking name. No, I do not want AI. Fuck off. Suhail or Suhail, that's it. I knew it began with an S. His parts especially, like, I really enjoyed. So following Audrey and actually getting to see some of their notes on the translation of these tablets is really interesting, and hear them talking about the language, I absolutely adore. I also really enjoyed the political, socially political aspects of the Natural History of Dragons series. I really enjoyed it in here as well. We have sort of a failed romance plot that's, I really like. Like, Audrey has herself somewhat of an ex who reappears and is somehow tangled up in this mess with the translation, with the tablets, with the Draconians, with Lord Glenley, and she is wanting to figure out what, why, how he's involved, while also still feeling the hurt of what he did, of how they like came to separate, how they broke up. I don't know if they were officially dating, but you know how it works in, like, old times. Except this isn't old times, but it's like fantasy old times. So how they came to not continue their relationship, and how that may potentially lead her to some extreme acts, also in the name of her grandma, because obviously she's grown up on the stories of her grandma and the things that Lady Trent got up to, and so she finds herself, I guess, constantly asking, what would grandma do? What would grandma do in this instance? And it gets her into all sorts of trouble. And it's Audrey's coming to terms with who she is in this family, and, like, finding her own way and doing the things that she wants to do for her. And then we also have the draconian aspect of it, these, like, dragon people that have suddenly been introduced into society, and people are a little they've grown up on stories of the Draconians, like, ritually sacrificing people, eating them, you know, just being generally tyrannical and horrific. And then we have these draconian people that have actually been living in isolation for whoever knows how many years in the mountains, and then they come down and shit hits the fan, and they've been doing their best to, like, integrate. Not everybody's been super on board with that, and I guess that's one of these big meetings and things, like, trying for the Draconians to try and find their place. And that's why Shane being involved in the tablet is, like, a big deal as well. And a lot of this is social, a lot of the, like, mystery, the things that are going on outside of the translation is to do with, it's the fantasy racism. It's that thing where fantasy, like, they introduce a new species, a new race of people, so that they can include racism without it being racism against human people. For some reason, although Audrey herself, I believe, is mixed race, it's never stated, but I think it is implied that she is half black. Like, her dad is Isabella's son, Jacob, and her mum is someone Jacob, I guess, met on his seafaring travels, because he went to do sailing stuff, right? And she's not from the fantasy, like, England of this place. And so, like, there are some comments about her, but mostly it's that thing where, you know, it's mostly towards the Draconians, to Shane, and I don't know, is that lazy? I mean, it was going, I guess with the Lady Trent series, like, they weren't actually a people that existed anymore, they were long past, so it's just sort of these stories that you have of them, and then suddenly, oh, the Draconians exist, holy shit. And then obviously them integrating in society. I don't know, it never occurred to me that there would be a problem, because it's fiction, right? You can make it not be a problem. So I guess to make it a big deal, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's, like, oh, here we go with the fantasy racism thing again. Like, it's the same thing. It's fantasy. It's against a different species. So, like, that makes it okay. Like, why, like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that particular aspect of this, because as far as I'm aware, Marie Brennan is white. I could be wrong. I may be wrong. Feel free to correct me. So I feel like throughout the Lady Trent series, Marie Brennan deals with a lot of like different cultures, like in fantasy, but like a lot of them like mirror. I won't say a lot of them. It's been a long time since I've read the series, but like some of them mirror like cultures of today. Yeah, like from like the past, like cultures and how they were in the past, and sort of like representing them. And as far as I'm aware, I've not seen anybody say anything otherwise. She tends to do a good job of it. So I actually wonder what people think about this, because as far as I remember, the biggest thing is because we're following Lady Trent and it's her doing what she wants to do, she encounters a lot of misogyny along the way. And that's the main thing that I can recall like being an issue, which is fine because, again, as far as I'm aware, Marie Brennan is A, white, and B, a woman, and Lady Isabella Trent is fantasy white and also a fantasy woman. So that feels like an... I mean, not okay. I'm not saying white people can't write what they want to write. It's just you have to ask yourself, why are you writing this? So I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed Marie Brennan's writing, and I really enjoy Audrey as a character. We also have what's her name? Lord Glenley's niece, Cora. She's great. I feel like she's very autistic coded, and I really enjoy reading the little sections that we get of her and how she's sort of like getting through things, because we get hints of her not... She's sort of like under Lord Glenley because her parents died and there's not really a lot of choice for her of what to do. So she's basically just his little... I don't know, person to just get to do things that maybe he doesn't want to do or can't do or whatever. And it's just really nice seeing her interacting with Audrey and Cudshane and like learning things, and because it feels like she hasn't had much interaction with people outside, so it's really nice to see that through her as well. So overall I really enjoyed it. It's just when you get down to like the fantasy racism, and it's like, okay, why did we go down this route? Sort of thing. But yeah, no, really I even really enjoyed the failed romance thing as aspect as well, because I kind of, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Because it wasn't like the happy ending sort of like, oh, you meet someone and fall in love. It's like, oh, we've already met this person in the past. It did not go well, and it continues to not go well. And it really shows a lot of like how a person is with how they deal with the people who are close to them in their life, whether they want to remain close or not, and things like that. And yeah, just overall really enjoyed it. So overall, I really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the Natural History of Dragons series, the memoirs by Lady Trent, you'll probably enjoy this, especially if you enjoyed the last one. I'm sure it's the last one. I need to reread them at some point. But yeah, it's good. Turning Darkness into Light. So there we go. That is, I think that was spoiler free. Honestly, I just sort of word vomited there a little bit based on my notes. And, oh, actually, have I missed anything? Okay. Okay, just quickly check my notes. I've wrote dog shit X. Okay, but yeah, the story, actually, I should probably mention. So the story is written through journal entries. We also get letters, translation notes, as I've mentioned, news article, and also there's a couple of police reports in there as well. So the story is told through mostly journal entries, but occasionally we do get letters and reports and articles, just to sort of build the world a little and just to continue the story in that way. Because I feel like it's like they've included them in their journal, like they've got a clip, like they got a clip of it, like they got a clipped it out, snippet. Audrey slotted it into her journal to keep note of. They've got letters that they've just been slotting into their journal that they've kept note of, and it's really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. So there we go. If you enjoyed the Natural History of Dragons, you'll probably enjoy this. So there you have it. There we have the Natural History of Dragons. No, Turning Darkness into Light. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. Let me know if you've read it. What are your thoughts? Especially if you have some thoughts on like the fantasy racism thing, because it's not a thing I just know it's something that comes up quite a bit sometimes in fantasy, but it's not something I've personally like looked into a lot, so I'd like to change that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, and yeah, thank you again for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day wherever you are, and I will hopefully see you in another video very soon. But until then, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.